Well, hello, hello, Young and the Restless Daily Recap fans. Today's Daily Recap is for Thursday, October the 12th, 2023. Thursday, October the 12th. Well, it's so funny. Adam comes to society where Nate and Victoria are, and he has his little tablet and he comes in and he goes, and Nate is like, Adam, I wasn't expecting to see you here. Oh, I finished all of the items you had for me to do, and I just wanted to come give you a report. Okay, I picked up your dry cleaning on time, and it's in your office. It's menial. Oh, the presentation folders all ready to go. I mean, and it's all such menial stuff that, okay, anybody could do, right? And Vicky is like, just snarking at him. And, all of this stuff could have been sent in a text. And Nate says, but thank you for completing it all. Thank you, you know? And Adam says, I'm just trying to make sure you understand. I mean, what I say, I'm going to do a good job, no matter the task, no matter, how many clothes that I could pick up for you, you know? And so Adam says, and Nate says, and I appreciate it. And Victoria's just, oh, come on, you don't expect us to. And she is just going on being her usual spiteful, hateful self. And so Adam says, I thought you told our father that you were on board with this and that you were going to give it a try and that you were actually going to work with him. And she's just looking at him. And Nate interjects something, pretty much. And Adam says, well, you know what? I've got to get back to the office to get to work. So he leaves. And Victoria looks at Nate and she goes, I thought you understood not to fall for Adam's tactics. This is not, he has an ulterior motive and blah, blah, blah. And Nate says, Victoria, I thought we decided that we were going to go along with this and keep a close eye on Adam until he shows his true colors. He's done a good job. I mean, she goes, yeah, but you were praising him and everything. He goes, well, he did a good job at the task that I assigned him. He says, we need to make sure he's thrown off of the game. We need him to think that we are giving him a try, a chance, right? If we ever going to succeed in this, Victoria. And she goes, yeah. Well, if I praised him, then he would know something was up. So no, And so she goes, but I can tone it down a little. So Nate says, I have to get to the office for an international call. Would you come in with? And she goes, no, you go ahead. So she then, let's see, calls Nick. Oh, goodness gracious. Nick. Change your mind, Nick. Oh my goodness, Nick. Right? And Nick is like, Vic, no. I've already told you, this is like a broken record with you. And Nick is still upset pretty much about from breaking up with Sally. And she's like, what's going on? I know something's going on with you, And so Victoria, let's see, Nicholas ends up saying, no, I can't, Vic. We can talk about anything else. I'm not coming back to Newman. Because she's like, look, you do not need to be still, working for shit. Like, that's nothing. And he's like, no, I'm right where I need to be. Okay. And so he ends up leaving her and he goes to coffee house. And at the coffee house, or even maybe Sally's at the coffee house. And Adam runs into Sally, and Sally's like, I can't deal with you. Mm-mm, right? So she walks out, and Nick comes in, and no, when Adam comes to the coffee house, Nick is already there drinking coffee. And Nick says, Adam says, Nick, I want to talk to you about it. He goes, just stay away. Don't you dare stay away from me. Or maybe they were actually at the GCAC. Nick was already drinking. GCAC, and Adam comes to the bar. And he goes, you best better stay away from me, or I'm going to punch you in the face. You know, and Adam's kind of like, what's going on here, right, bro? Well, what do you mean? What's happened? I mean, tell me? It can't still be the kiss, because if it's the kiss, I already told you. I apologize. He's rubbing it in, right? And so Nick stands, I told you, get out of my face and leave me alone. So Nick storms out, right? Goes to the park. Well, Adam has to follow him at the park. Yeah, he doesn't see Sally at the coffee house a little bit later. So Adam sees Nick at the park, and he goes, Nick, wait. Then he goes, Adam, I told you, stay far away from me, because it's not going to fare well for you. And he goes, but I'm just saying, what's going on? I'm thinking, now, come on now. Somebody blows up at you the way you blew up. He blew up at you at the bar. And you gonna follow him to the park to make him talk to you? That was so ridiculous, right? And so Nick is like, you destroy everything. You take everything from me. And I'm thinking, that's a lie, Nick. You try to take everything from Adam. That's the way that goes, right? That's how that works. It's actually both ways. It works both ways. Right now, if Adam had dumped some other woman, Nick would be sniffing up her, trying to be there for her, saying, my brother, you deserve better than my brother. My brother's always that way. See, no, that's Nick. So he walks away from Adam again, and Adam goes into the coffee house, and that's where he sees Sally, and Sally is just like, oh, I can't with you. Don't want to see you. And Sally books. Well, Sharon comes out and she goes, what have you done now, Adam? Right? And he's like, you my go-to girl. You always on my side. And he's like, I just want to know what's going on. I mean, something's going on with Nick and Sally and this, that, and the other. And Sharon is like, leave it alone, Adam. He's like, no, something, I have to find out. See, that's Adam. He got to stay in it, right? So we had some interesting scenes, everybody. Audra, right? Audra is coming in, telling Nikki the deal that they wanted wasn't necessarily working out right. They want their firm on the offer, and it's too much. They don't want the company's not worth that much, the deal. And so Nikki says, okay, we'll keep working on it. And then she goes, Claire, what do you think on it? And Claire's like, excuse me, wait, what? She goes, what are your thoughts on it? And so Claire says, well, and Audra's looking like, what do you mean asking an assistant? What are her thoughts, really? So she's just looking at Claire. And Claire says, well, I mean, here's the thing. I say let them keep their price, but get it out in other ways, like in fees. So you can make them think they won, but in essence, they're going to be paying more in the end. It'll be a win-win. And Nikki says, that's interesting. And Audra says, interesting approach. And so Nikki's like, Audra, keep working on that. So Audra leaves, and Nikki is talking to Claire, and Claire keeps bringing up she was raised by this aunt. I'm hearing about this infamous aunt, this aunt, this aunt. And I'm like, who is this aunt? This aunt is going to be somebody, something to somebody, right? Claire to me is too perfect. And every Newman she meets, oh, I studied up on you. Oh, I did a paper on you. I've read everything you've done. Ah, okay, something's going on. This is her dream job. How could being an assistant be a dream job? Right? And I'm like, okay, we're going to have to watch Claire. There's going to be a big backstory to her. So, anyway, Audra leaves. She comes back a little bit later, and Nikki is talking to Claire, and she says, I good news. I took that tactic, accepted their offer, raised it in their marketing fees, you know, and we closed the deal. And Nikki says, very good. Excellent work, Audra. And she goes, thanks for your input, Claire. I have to get to this meeting. So Nikki leaves. And Audra's looking at Claire. Like, what's your number, girl? Because see, I'm the big schemer, scammer, double agent. That's my job. And I'm sensing something with you. And so Audra says, Claire says, I hope I didn't overstep by making a suggestion. I had no idea that Mrs. Newman was going to even ask for my opinion. And Audra says, oh, there's enough room for opinions from all. No worries. Good job. It worked out. Mm-hmm. And so Claire said, okay. And so she's leaving. She goes, I'm going to be at my desk. Audra, is there anything I can do for you? And Audra looks at her and she's like, I'm good. And so Claire says, well, if you think of anything, I'm at my desk. So she walks out and Audra sits down and she goes to her tablet and she's looking up Claire Grace. So she's trying to do an internet dive on Claire because she senses something is not right. And I can't wait to find out. I can't wait to find out what's not going to be right with Claire because she is 100% too good to be true. So Victoria, remember when Nick blew up at Nate in the park? Victoria was in the park. Now, Victoria hasn't gone to work all day whatsoever. And that's what Adam blew up with Nick in the park. Victoria sees it when Nick walks away, said, what's that all about? And he goes, I don't know. Our brother is just, Nick's being Nick. And she goes, She goes, you know what, Adam? I want to apologize for, being rude or her comments for earlier. And Adam stopped and he says, wait, you're doing what? She goes, I want to apologize. You were just reporting, to your boss, doing your job. And I did say that I would, give this a chance. And he goes, well, this is a first. And she says, yeah. But you know what? Wait a minute. Because Adam talks to Victoria. Okay, so she lets that go. Or actually, Adam and Nate had already been to the coffee house. Not the coffee house, work. Victor called them both in the office and gave a quick report. No, when Adam left Nate and Victoria at Society, he went to Victor's office. And he goes, son, my boy, how's it going? And he goes, oh, great. I picked up Nate's laundry, although that could have been a job or he could have just had it simply delivered like most people. And then, and he's just going on and whatever. He goes, but it's going fine. And so Nate comes in And he goes, Adam. He says, Nate. And Victor says, Nate, how are things working? And Nate's like, oh, fine, sir, fine. And so it goes, good to hear that, you both are giving this your honest try. So they're leaving, and Nate says, come on, we've got the conference call. And so as they're leaving, Victor looks and says, keep up the good work, Nicholas. You can learn a lot from him. And Adam, they keep up the good work, Nicholas. And Nate kind of went like, so when they got out, Adam said, you did hear that, right? And Nate says, what? He called me Nicholas. And he goes, okay, some people give a slip, accidentally calls somebody by another name, slip of the tongue. He goes, my father doesn't have slip of the tongues like that. He either calls me Adam or he calls me my boy. He's never called me Nicholas. And Nate says, well, maybe he's preoccupied thinking of something else. So then they go to their call, and then I think that's when Adam runs into Victoria, and I think that's when he sees Nicholas again, and they argue at the park, or Nicholas blows up. I kind of may have gotten the timeline a little off, because when after she apologized, Adam said, Victoria, have you noticed something about our father? And Victoria said, what do you mean about our father? He goes, he called me Nicholas. And when I questioned him, because actually when he did, Adam says, Nicholas, and he goes, Victor looked up and said, what? You called me Nicholas, Dad. And he's like, huh. Mm-hmm. He goes, he acted like he didn't call me Nicholas. He goes, I think something's going on with him. So she walks off. Now, Nick is talking to Sally, and he ends up just through with it all. He's tired of her indecision. He says, Sally, I'm in love with you, and I've told you I've been in love with you for a while. And you didn't even say you loved me until after you told me about this kiss. He says, that was rather convenient. He says, I think you then wanted to tell me what you thought I wanted to hear. No, Nick, no. And she's trying to say, but that's not it. No, I'm with you. I want you. And he says, you know what? No. She says, there's too much back and forth. I have stayed in the middle and stayed trying to think this is going to work. He goes, but Sally, I'm done. Every time I turn around, it's always you and Adam. He says, and after you lost Ava, you and Adam were both broken, but it's like you guys put those broken pieces back together, and you guys are stronger. And she goes, no, Adam is just a friend. Adam is just my friend. And so, where's my dog? That's my little female Yorkie. She's blind. New place. I don't know where she's at. She's learning her way to my room. But anyway, he says, no, Sally. Adam knows every button to push with you. And he pushes them. And what Nick says is, and you let him. You let him push those buttons. It's like you're still drawn to him. No, he goes, you know what? You need to take some time because I see it. And I can't deal with this anymore. I can't deal with this back and it's just too much. Because Nick is thinking, look, I got another business trip I need to go on in 2 days, girl. And you're going to be asking Adam for dinner. You're going to be asking Adam for nightcaps. Because it's been Sally asking Adam, not the other way around. Oh, she's crying. You don't believe me when I say, oh, she's crying. And Nicholas says, no, Sally, I'm done. And he walks out. Done. Right? So Nicholas um then goes to the punching bag, and he's punching on it and he's punching on it, because actually what happened is, after Adam and Nate were talking in the hall, after Victor called him Nicholas, Nikki comes up and says, "What slip of what tongue?" And Adam tells her what happened. He goes, "He called me Nicholas," and then he act like he didn't call me Nicholas. He's never called me Nicholas. And look, Nikki's looking like, "Oh, good God, he called you who?" Because there's no confusing my beloved Nicholas and you. That's how Nikki is. So she goes in and she's talking to Victor. And she goes, just had an interesting conversation with Adam and Nate. Adam is worried. And Victor said, and he looks up from his phone, "Why? Because I called him Nicholas?" She goes, "Yes. So you knew you called him Nicholas?" He said, "Of course." So we leave that conversation there. Then we have Nicholas. Oh, he's at the punch. He's just at the punching bag, the punching bag, the punching bag. Um, and he is just going crazy with this punching bag. And Victor comes up and Victor says, "My boy, talk to me." Because he could see Nicholas was trying to punch a hole, like Victor punching that bag. Nicholas was punching that bag. And he just knew something was wrong with Nicholas, and he wanted to talk to Nicholas. So, that's where that ended. Nothing else pretty much happened. So that's it. I mean, this has actually been a very, very slow week. Truly, 100% slow. I'll be back for another daily recap.